A fast-moving area of low pressure will pass through Newfoundland and Labrador as we go through Monday. Good morning, I'm NTV Chief Meteorologist Eddie Shear, now 7:21. Ahead of the incoming low, Environment Canada has a special weather statement in place for Deer Lake, Humber Valley, Green Bay, White Bay, Grossmoor, Parsons Pond, Hawke's Bay, Port Saunders and the Straits, and the Northern Peninsula East for snow and ice as we head throughout the day. Wind warnings are also currently in effect for areas of western and eastern Newfoundland. Winds across the west coast will gust between 100 and 120 kilometers per hour over exposed areas from the east this morning. Wreck house wind warning also included in that for the Channel Port aux Basques area. And eastern areas, St. John's vicinity, the Avalon Peninsula North, and the Bonavista Peninsula also under a wind warning for winds later this afternoon, gusting as high as 100 kilometers per hour, especially over exposed coastal areas. Winds for all areas will back off as we head into this evening. Radar imagery showing that snow now spreading across eastern and northeastern Newfoundland pretty good will arrive in the metro in the next half hour to an hour. Driving conditions as the snow starts will deteriorate rather quickly. Across the rest of Newfoundland, many areas are already seeing snow. In fact, across the west coast and the southwest coast, the snow has already changed to rain. And for many of us across the island away from that northwest corner, snow will change to rain as we head throughout the late morning or early afternoon, but not before a little bit of a light snow accumulation. FUTURECAST will show this rather well. Here it is for 8 o'clock this morning, showing that rain-snow line by then just edging onto the Burin Peninsula. As we get into noon or so, 10 o'clock in the morning, that rain-snow line has pushed across most of the Burin Peninsula, pushing across the south coast and just edging on to the southwest Avalon. But between 10 and noon, that rain-snow line quickly pushes north, and by midday, we are seeing rain heavy at times across southern areas of the Avalon Peninsula. Northern areas by noon may be still seeing that rain, ice, pellet, snow mix, but shortly thereafter, it will change to rain. Temperatures rise pretty dramatically as we go into the afternoon. Notice 8 degrees in Marystown by 3 o'clock, 5 in Trepassey, 3 St. John's, but most areas will get into that warm air for a time as we go throughout the day. By 6 p.m., most of the precipitation is done, and at that point, we're kind of just waiting on the winds to calm down a little bit. As far as the snowfall goes, nothing overly impressive for most areas, but enough to make things a bit slippery. 2 to 6 or 7 centimeters for eastern and northeastern Newfoundland before that change. On the northern peninsula, amounts between 10 and 15 centimeters before that change. Same thing with the higher elevations in and around Corner Brook and around Stephenville and Port aux Basques. Rainfall amounts will be relatively significant in spots. We're talking about 15 to 25 millimeters of rain for the highest amounts, which will be across the southeast Avalon and the Burin Peninsula. But again, that will be late this morning into the afternoon, with the rain tapering off later this evening. As far as the wind gusts go right now, nothing overly impressive except at Wreck House, where winds are southeast, gusting as high as 113. And as far as the forecast winds go, as we go throughout the day, notice those darker colors across southwestern Newfoundland and the south coast. Those begin to work their way to the east, and by midday, the strongest winds are past the west coast, moving into eastern areas, and by 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, we see the strongest winds across the Avalon Peninsula and the Bonavista Peninsula and the northeast coast, and by 4, 5, 6 o'clock, those strong winds do begin to move offshore, and the weather will begin to get a lot nicer as we head into this evening, but then snow squalls will become a concern. Hope you found this informative. Have a great day, and stay tuned to my Facebook and Twitter pages for more updates.